Hey everyone, welcome to this completely unnecessary podcast for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. That's Ian Ferguson. I'm Pat Contry. We got a fun super show for you today. Lots of funness happening. GameStop dropping NFTs. What a shocker. The sad decline of physical media and collecting. The Intellivision Amico roadmap and other.
This is the song that doesn't end.
And other good stuff.
It goes on and on.
Ian, you had a busy weekend, right?
I had a very busy weekend. But I mean, besides that, nothing like really interesting to talk about. Just busy for uninteresting reasons. I've been boning up on my sardine knowledge. Not eating them. I've just been boning up on the knowledge.
My grandfather used to love sardine sandwiches.
I had a can of sardines. The first time I think I've ever had a can of sardines when I was back in Buffalo. Vonnie and I were at a bar, and one of the things they offered on their menu was sardines with crackers. So Vonnie and I ordered a can of sardines.
Like it's 1928.
It was good. It was tasty. But I've just been reading tinned fish reviews, but I haven't been eating it.
It's a healthy snack.
No,
sardine,
sure.
right?
One of these days, maybe I'll actually take some of this knowledge, these reviews I'm reading, and buy them. They are incredibly healthy for you.
Sardines are good for you. Oh, it's fish. It's fish.
And
there's no like bad fish for you, really.
And if because you're eating lower on the food chain, it's better for the environment. I don't know why, but that's what they say.
Okay, I didn't know that.
That's what they say. Yeah, apparently,
smaller the fish, the better for the environment.
I don't know.
So eating little shrimps is better than big shrimp?
No clue. I don't think they mean like per species. I think they mean just in
overall,
general. Like
okay.
Sardines in general are lower on the food chain. But I don't know why that makes them better.
It sounds like a marketing ploy, but all right. I got to look into that.
Well,
I got to gather my own data.
I do your own research.
Yeah.
I have independently, like lots of things are like, oh yeah, sardines are packed full of healthy omega fatty acids.
Oh yeah.
The next thing.
A lot of fish are, but yeah.
Anyway,
I eat fish 4 times a week.
I should eat more fish.
Everyone should. That's the first recommendation. People say, how do I, if I want to get a little trimmer or I want to get a little healthier, I said, well, are you eating fish at all? And no one says they eat fish. Why don't we eat fish as a society?
I think
I guess because we're mostly landlocked, so that's probably part of it. But like, fish is so good for you overall.
I think it's because I've had this conversation on Extra Napkins, which you can tune into. That's my food podcast. We've had that conversation before on Extra Napkins where I think it's because how fish was treated when we were younger and growing up is different than how fish was treated elsewhere. We're only getting to the point in the late 90s, really, where things like sushi and, and creative cooking methods for fish, we're getting more popular. A lot of people growing up, their idea of fish for dinner was mom pulling a frozen fillet out of the freezer, and baking it off in the oven with, some butter and whatnot. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's just not appealing to a lot of people. Culinary stuff in general was in a real kind of weird dark ages in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. And it was only until like the mid to late 90s and 2000s that I think, American culinary cuisine started to get up to snuff.
Well, I think it was treated as too special where you go out to have fish, like a nice fish.
Sure. That's part of it too.
You can always buy probably fish at most supermarkets, but it's probably too niche or they had no interest because we're all about eating chicken and steaks and pork chops and pot roast and like just meats available. Obviously, it's an availability thing. Obviously on the coast you can get it a little easier.
We treated it just like other meats too. We gave it the same sides as other meats, which doesn't really make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
You're trying to sauce it with the same kind of sauces you use, especially if you're at a restaurant. So you're not complementing the fish. Yeah,
and like I said, a lot of it was cheap fish, frozen fish that's, cutlets that are overly breaded, don't taste like anything. How many times did we have fish sticks? I think I got to a certain point, I was 10, I was like, Mom, I cannot eat fish sticks anymore. They are awful. And you got to put it on awful tartar sauce to make them have any flavor. It's like, I hated them.
Yeah.
I'll never have fish stick again as long as I live. Ever. They're that bad.
I don't hate them, but I mean, like, I'm not going to ever buy them.
They're terrible.
I'm not, yeah. I mean,
it's garbage fish minced up. Here's the big thing that happened. Little religious history. Up until Vatican II in the early to mid 60s, Catholics didn't eat meat on any Friday. Any Friday. Not just during Lent. Now it's just during Lent. They went easy on us. I don't know. They went easy. They changed the rules where, hey, you can have meat on Fridays. So fish used to be a lot bigger, tri-state area, a lot of Italians, because every Friday, I get the stories from my grandparents. They go to the market and buy fish every Friday. You were locked in to fish on Fridays. You were locked in. And they got rid of the rule. They shouldn't have got rid of the rule. They must, you know what? They probably the mob got to them. Or La Costa Nostra got to them in the Vatican, and because that was a thing. So traditionally, like I think my grandparents still traditionally did the fish every Friday, no matter what, for a long time.
So in Buffalo, Fish Fry Friday.
See?
Fish Fry Friday.
There you go.
Fish fries in Buffalo were always huge. It's like an event in Buffalo when Lent rolls around because every place starts rolling out their fish fries, and fish fries are delicious. Like, I'm not going to shit on a fish fry. They're fucking awesome. A good fish fry is great. But a lot of places in Buffalo would do them year round.
Yeah, because a lot of Italians, and they want a place to maybe go.
The Germans too.
Germans would do it too?
Yeah, the Germans would do it too.
German Catholics?
I think like Polish. I think the best
Catholics?
place that I've ever had a fish fry was called Wheat Chex. It sounds like you're saying wheat checks. Like,
Wheat Chex.
But it's Wheat Chex. It's Wheat Chex. And they're fucking fish fries every Friday. Amazing fish fries.
So I blame the Vatican. The Vatican took fish out of our meals.
Anyways,
Anyway.
what an interesting little tangent we went on here.
You didn't know about Vatican too, did you? Out there, I know a little bit more about Catholic knowledge than I should. Well, I was raised Catholic.
Yeah, I mean, I was too.
But I was gonna say, I went to a game with Frank. I went to the Ducks Rangers games on Sunday. Frank's wanted to go to a game for years.
Right.
He's wanted
Yeah.
to go to a game.
And you've brought it up. I mean, in passing every year, you're like, yeah, I might go to this Rangers game.
And since it's a different conference, East or Western Conference, you only get one chance a year.
Right.
Usually, traditionally, different conferences for hockey. For basketball, I think it's a little bit different because different matchups and TV stuff. But for hockey, traditionally, you'll play Western Conference teams twice, once at home, once away.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how it works. So you have the one chance to see them. So Frank got me tickets as a Christmas present, but he really wanted to go. I was like, okay, I'll go with you. So it was great. I drove. I paid for parking. Frank paid for the tickets. I paid for whatever else. Beautiful, beautiful time there. Great arena. There.
Is it a nice arena?
Yeah. Honda Center there. I like Honda.
I've only seen the outside of it.
Yeah. It's like a mile away from where the Angels play. It's like literally right down the street. You can see it.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Right
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Not even-
I've
not
seen
even
the
a mile.
outside, just not the inside.
Yeah, it was easy to get to. I'm going to advertise it for them, but it's easy to get to. It was easy. It was a 5-minute walk from where we parked, and we get there. Frank was super. Frank does not like driving on the highway. I'll just say that. So he was talking a lot while we were driving, I guess, to stay distracted. And so it's like once we got there, I could relax. I was like, okay. I have 2 Ranger sweaters. We call them sweaters. They're not jerseys, but whatever, interchangeable. I have my old one from when I was 10.
There was always like a back and forth about that in Buffalo.
They're technically sweaters. They're called
People
sweaters.
call them sweaters.
Yeah.
Some people call them jerseys.
Because originally they were sweaters. Like they
Yeah.
had
Oh,
that
yeah.
material,
Yes. Yeah.
like in the 30s and 40s.
They were wool.
50s. Yeah. So so I still have my Rangers traditional home blue Rangers jersey sweater from when I think I was 9 when I got it, or 10 playing, outdoor hockey and street hockey.
It fits.
Yeah, because my parents got me an extra large back then, so it still fits now. Because you're always a size up for hockey.
Yes.
Because you have to wear the shoulder pads if you're
and all
playing
that,
traditionally
yeah.
and all that stuff. So it's like it still fits. I'm like, how does this still fit me? Like if it's snugger like now. When I was a kid, it must have been like sleeves over my hands.
Yeah.
With the gloves and everything. So and Frank had the one that he had the late 90s. They still wear it. The alternate Statue of Liberty one that they first did in the late 90s. And I got that. I was like, where did I get this from? I think my sister's boyfriend at the time, some sleazeball. Sorry, but he was a sleazeball, sis. Gave me a random Rangers jersey he had to try to like ingratiate himself to me. So anyway, I think his name was Vinny. So there you go. He looked like a Vinny.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he like classic Jersey Vinny. Italian Vinny. So
That one? Is that the right one?
that's the Vinny. Oh yeah, that's the jersey. Yeah, they still wear it, I think. So we wore those. Frank wore that one. So we get to there, and this is like literally like where we're parked. It's like a five lane. It's like a highway, like semi-highway, but there's a stop sign. There's pedestrian crossing. It's a 5-minute walk. It's like a quarter mile to get to the entrance to this place. And we're way early. It's like 4:10. It doesn't start till 5:30.
Did you eat anywhere up there, or did you just eat at the arena?
Wait at the arena. I'll get you. So we're going there, and Frank's like, I think I gotta go to the bathroom. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, we're gonna be there. It's like 5 minutes. We're gonna be there. So you're looking at me. So we're walking around the corner, and there's a restaurant there, and I won't say the name of the restaurant in case there's like security footage you're gonna go back to.
Jesus,
they
don't care.
It's one of those restaurants, Ian, where there's like it's all like cemented out, but there's like some plants around to make it its own area, like on a corner, and there's like there's like hard whatever tables that are like stone. You've seen setups like that for some restaurants, So he was like, I'm gonna check to see if the restaurant is open. And I'm like, we're at the crossing. Like, it's turning green to cross.
Right.
Like, I'm in my head, I always calculate like efficiency because I'm a madman. I'm like, it's going to be more efficient if we just cross now, not waste 2 minutes, 3 minutes. We'll be at the stadium by then. We'll get in, you'll go to the bathroom in like 4 minutes from now. Like, he walks to see if the restaurant's open, which takes like 30 seconds because it's a little bit away. He walks back. Oh, it's not open. By now, they're crossing. I'm like, we got like, it'll be another 3 minutes to cross because this is like a pretty significant highway. Like, it's gonna be every minute that you cross. You have to wait to cross. He goes, I think I might go to the bathroom here. I'm like, what do you mean here? I'll just find a spot. There's police officers like across the street. Like, I'm not saying they're gonna walk and see him, but I'm like, I got freaked out. So I think Frank, not dropping Diamond Frank, it's a good story. I think he found some like column that was semi-protected from view, and I think he went like a common like dog in the street on the column. I was horrified, by the way, when this happened. Frank, of course, thought nothing of it. I offered him my antibacterial in my pocket, and we crossed the street, and we were by the time we got back and we crossed the street, we got into the stadium in about 4 or 5 minutes. We were there. So like all he had to do was wait like 4 minutes, and we would have been fine.
I accidentally pissed on a cop car once. I think it was my second time out here, and I had met up with one of my friends, and this was I don't even know if I was 20 yet. And we had gotten drunk and we started walking around the neighborhood, and I was like, I gotta piss. And
you found a random car?
And it's nighttime and we're on a street. I'm like, I really gotta go. I mean, we're drunk, and I'm like, I gotta go. And she's like, yeah, we're not gonna make it back in time. So I haul up behind a car and start taking a piss on the ground behind it. And I look up, and it's a cop car and another cop car, and they're at a house for a stop. And I was just like,
did you keep going, or
I did. I was in the middle.
Or you stop it? Did you stop it? You use that Kegel muscle to stop it?
No, I absolutely.
You can do it. You can train it. You can stop it.
You can, but it sucks.
Oh yeah, because it's like it's ready to burst. Well, you can do it. You can hold it back.
I
gotta use that Kegel muscle. You gotta stop it.
So I finished, but yeah, like I tell the story, and it's like I wasn't even trying to be like some punk ass kid. I mean, it sounds like something I would have done on purpose, but no, it was an accident.
I almost got arrested once walking past a cop car after a bunch of us stole things in college. I'll tell that story another time. It's the only time I thought I was going to get arrested ever. Okay, there's a second time, but that's a more mature story. But there's 2 times I thought I was going to get arrested, or almost did, and that was one. So this is a monumental day, and thanks to all the people that have been waiting for this announcement, and for everyone that's helped us get here. This is going to be a little bit less, not it's happy, but it's a good point that Ultimate Nintendo Guide to the N64 Library is now available for pre-order. Last time we podcasted, I was prepping the pre-orders, and now it's available. This is 3.5 years in the making. About 25 individuals have helped get us there. A couple of editors, about 20 writers, about 5 people doing art, and it's been a journey. So I'm just going to just read off real quick what it includes. This isn't the full spiel, but includes details for every N64 game, developer, publisher, release date, genre, special features, and more. Bonus sections are dedicated to special cartridges and even 64 DD games, only released in Japan. That's the big deal about this one. You get exclusive European and Japanese full reviews. 64 DD and special cartridge section, 64 hardware, including first-party console and controller variant section. So you know how there was like 40 different controllers, and there was like
20 all pleasing to the eye,
and 20 different consoles. There's a ton of controllers. It was harrowing trying to get modeling done for all of these, and we did it with the team. Not for resale cartridges. You learn about that. There's this whole section about N64 games that were canceled and never released. There's supplemental articles, the history of wrestling games, pro wrestling games on the N64. Our buddy Audi did an article on that.
One. His book is good too.
Alex Fasciani did an article about how every game is Super Mario 64, talking about how that was so influential as a platformer, 3D platformer. There's an article about how N64 was the first major like party gaming console at the time, things like that. And there's even there's going to be a bonus section that I want to surprise people with, because it's something that I didn't even know existed, and most of us probably didn't or still don't until I started doing the N64 book. I think you know what I'm talking about, but it doesn't come to the top of mind. So thank you so much, everyone that's been patient for this. It'll be out. Hopefully, it'll start shipping in the middle of the summer. By then, go to ultimatenintendo.com for there. There will be a Kickstarter as well in the near future, but go to the website if you want. So you hear about the Tetris kid?
I did. I can bring that right up because I was just looking at it. So a 13-year-old boy who goes by Blue Scooty online,
Blue Scooty,
I think that's how you pronounce it, is the first person to beat the original Tetris and reach the game's kill screen. By original Tetris, they do mean the NES version, which I guess it's Tetris, but not the original Tetris. Wait, it's what? The one that everyone. I'm just saying it's not the first.
No, it's not the first Tetris.
Yeah,
that was on some Russian computer. Right. Original Tetris.
So yeah, it took him 38 minutes to beat it. He's like, I guess, begging it to crash, and it does. Nintendo says it has nothing to announce on the topic. Thanks, Nintendo.
Why would Nintendo care? It's a game we put out in '89.
Right. Yeah.
It's funny. You think Nintendo would care? Nintendo doesn't have like a retro gaming department that tracks these things.
Right.
They can barely, they can find the games to put out on the virtual console, on the Switch. That's about it. Like that's as far as they're going now for the retro stuff for the most part.
So it says that he broke records for, obviously if he beat it, it was probably going to be pretty close to that. But he beat records for lines, level, and score.
Well, you would think, right?
You would probably have to if he gets to the kill screen. What's funny about this to me is, and I love this, I'm happy for him. When this was announced, it was a little while ago at this point, or earlier this month, it reminded me of something else I had recently found out. I think it was the 2018 Othello World Champion was an 11-year-old.
Wow, so just like a genius.
So we've got 13-year-old kids beating Tetris, being the first people to beat Tetris. We've got 11-year-old kids beating fucking 60-year-old masters at Othello. The children, they're scary and they are our future.
Well, it happened to Bobby Fischer 50 years ago. He was a genius. Yeah. Sometimes you get these kids that just, like, they see the world probably the Matrix, where like things line up differently in their head and they could be off and running.
Yep.
What I thought was interesting about this, I had no idea that there was a revolutionary new way to play Tetris. Well, I did not know about this.
Really? So this is what I was going to say. So we thought we had seen the kill screen a few years ago. We even covered it on this podcast. Okay. I'm sure we had to have. It was in the mid 2000s, and people had thought they had gotten Tetris as far as they could get it, and that was the kill screen. And they were already using weird techniques on the controllers to play as well. Yeah. Then it's called rolling and tapping, I think.
Yeah, I knew about that.
Well, there's a new version. Yeah,
but now you hit the back of the...
It's like hyper tapping or something they call it.
Yes, I knew that. But now you hit the back of the controller somehow, and that increases it with the pressure. And I'm like, so you're playing upside down. Basically, right. That's insane to me that now you're like, I was like, wow.
This new technique comes along and all of a sudden that's not the kill screen anymore.
Yeah. Cause now you're fast enough to move things quicker.
And, I was under the impression that because of that, I didn't know if there was a kill screen. I thought maybe the game just topped out at some point.
The memory eventually,
because I was watching people last year at Portland playing, and it just seemed like it was more of an endurance challenge at that point.
I guess that's what it used to be, because you couldn't get there.
Well, whatever it is, he actually took it to the point where the game crashed.
Yeah,
like, you can't take that game any further.
So
it's done.
literally,
it's a literal kill screen.
But literally now, these high-end players, like, there should have to be probably two categories now. How you're holding the controller. They hold the controller upside down and tap the back with pressure from the front, and they can do it quicker.
Yeah, no,
I'm like, I'm looking at this like, so now you got to learn how to play backwards and do it. I guess unless you can do it.
There was a really good person who played. I think it was like after some new technique, but they did it with the back of their foot. They were like rolling and tapping the controller with the back of their foot, and it was just.
This is like. This is almost against God. You know, like,
yeah.
The Nintendo lords did not see this happening.
But anyways,
it's fun though, because it's interesting, because like the memory it basically starts running out. The things start changing colors. It gets to a point where it's like invisible because everything's black. Like, I saw the progression of it. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. No, it's
then eventually it just rolls over, right? It just starts again.
No, it crashes. It literally freezes.
I thought it rolls over.
No, he said it froze. It just freezes.
What was the one I saw that it rolled over?
I don't know.
Anyway.
But anyways, his name was Willis Gibson. Willis Gibson.
Good for you, Willis.
And he got the game to freeze. Yeah, it freezes with a score of 9999999.
Oh, what was the one I saw where it rolled over?
I don't know.
It's interesting because once you get to the different levels, like, they start going like letters, and then they start going to random shit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's interesting, the colors change.
Yeah. Yeah, the game just gets.
Oh, yeah, it did crash. There it is. Yeah. 999. It crashed. It was at level. The levels just keep changing to like random numbers at that point. The memory doesn't know what to do anymore. Right. Basically, you know what I mean? Because it has to account for what came before, and it's like, what the hell do we do now? But no, there was one that I saw one where it's like everything was almost black. It's or the colors are so close and weird. It's hard to almost make out the shapes because the background's starting to blend. Yeah, good stuff. Speaking of old games, Atari 400 was announced.
Yeah, Atari 400.
Mini, because the Atari 400 came out, 82?
Yes, the Atari 400 Mini. It was announced. Yeah, Atari's had an interesting time. So they're releasing another physical product. None of these physical products really excite me in any way. But if you want it, we're going to be talking about it on television later. Atari has at least released stuff.
At least this is like within the realm of this is stuff they should be working on. Oh, it came out in 79. I thought it was later. Wow. So we're talking about yeah, that's right. Because it was with the VCS. We're crossing the Rubicon of viable products for Atari. We're getting to that point where we're going to run out of things to produce. And I think the 400 Mini might be that point where the diminishing returns you're going to start to see for sure. I'm not saying there aren't fans of the Atari 400 and computer system. It's hard to find them. At this point.
Well, and it's not like this thing is full of games that you can't play anywhere else. These are games that are on Atari 2600, they're on 5200. Most of these have been done to death. So it's like, do you just Berserk, Balderdash, Millipede,
Mule.
What's Lee? I think that means to say Bruce Lee. But obviously you couldn't call it Bruce Lee anymore. I don't know. Miner 2049er Missile Command. Mules on a few things. Star Raiders 2. I think that's a prototype. I have to look.
So it comes with the standard controller, since that's what you used. And yeah, people say, okay, Pat, these aren't these aren't exactly the 2600 games like Ian said. Yes, we get it. They're better looking games
they absolutely are.
But
I'm just saying.
But you have 5200 versions of these games, 7800 of a lot of these.
At $120.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. Okay, we buried the lead. $120.
I gotta double check. I thought it was 100. I'm pretty sure this one just said it's 120. But it's 100 at least. I don't know who this is for.
95 pounds, $120.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Wow.
And it only comes with one joystick. And how many games total does it have?
I don't care how many. For
no, I mean, I don't either. I'm just saying.
That's insane.
Oh, and only 25 built-in games.
Oh, this is a straight up cash grab. Like,
yes.
This is a bad product.
Yeah.
At that point, are you kidding me?
And unlike the 2600 Plus or whatever they released, at least that you can fucking plug another cartridge. You can plug cartridges into.
Yeah.
This is an NES Mini
for double the price.
For double the price, with 5 less games, and none of the games even remotely approach the status of those games.
Well, yeah. I mean, people are going to enjoy it, but again, like if you are buying this, you likely have already bought a lot of the other products. You know what I mean? That have a form of most of these games. I think that's what my takeaway from
at this point, you're not getting anything new.
My takeaway from a product like this was this. This is what I thought about. Atari is now banking on, I want to say, between 1,000 and 2,000 people in the world that they know will buy a product like this.
Yeah.
That's what I think we're drilling down into. But this is even more specific than that because this is Atari computer stuff.
So my thinking is the only people who are going to buy this are people who already own an Atari 400 with these games, and they're going to put it on their shelf, or they're going to put it next to their Atari 400 because it's going to look neat.
Because they have a working 400 that they love.
They're buying
or 800 or 1200, whatever the other computers they have.
They're buying it as an expensive tchotchke, decoration for their favorite computer or something.
I mean, how often would you get someone in the store that said, "I want Atari computer games specifically"? How often would that happen?
It has happened, but I would say in my 15 years there, no more than 10 times, less than once a year. Someone comes in.
Less than once a year.
And I feel like some people are going to say that's unbelievable. You get a lot of customers a year. We would get it, but I mean,
so
like I said, about once a year.
One out of thousands of customers a year.
Thousands and thousands of customers a year. Maybe one would come in and specifically be like, "Do you have Atari computer stuff?" There would be people who would walk in and see it and then buy it. But people specifically looking for it.
They bought it okay, I have it.
They'd be like, computer. "Oh, I've got one. I could grab a game for it." But
I'll count that. I'll actually count that into the mix.
Okay, Atari computer stuff would always sell in batches if we got it in. People would just buy it all. And when we got it in, it would happen. But specifically looking, not often.
Okay.
We'd probably get Atari computer stuff in maybe 3-4 times a year in a big trade-in, and people would pick it up.
So you do 3-4 sales a year, on average.
Yes.
That's not a real viable market.
No, it's not. It's not.
I mean, that's like at Intellivision level. Yeah. Basically, right? Mm-hmm. We think about it. That's like how.
Intellivision was more popular. Not popular, but definitely more popular.
Okay, like 10 or 12.
I would sell if I had Intellivision stuff. I'd sell a couple of games a month. I'm just saying.
I'm going to say a couple of games even a week or
a
couple of games a month. Okay,
a couple of games a month.
The point is this: we're in this realm of we are running out of people.
Consoles are different than computers.
Sure, but this is still people treat it as a console,
right.
Plugging in games for the most part. By the way, you can't even use this as a computer, right? You can't type on this, right? Can you type on this?
No, if you could. See, it's not
that the Commodore ones have come out. I think there's some you can type on, right? The newer ones.
There's Spectrums that you can. Yeah. Atari's got all these near misses, and I think the thing is like you said, they know that there's a few people. There's a market base out there that's probably going to buy whatever they put out.
Okay.
They could increase the range of the market if they had taken the 2600 plus to its what I would think its natural conclusion and done an FPGA. They could take the 400, and I wish they would have, and made a mini replica, even if you're just flashing the BIOS onto something or whatever. So do it through emulation and make it like the 2600 plus. Sure. Make a cartridge slot that you can pop a cartridge in. Actually give this thing some fucking feasibility and usability outside 25 games. However, they could do it, but I don't think they would see the market expansion required to put in the effort. Yeah. And Atari does not strike me as a place right now that has any desire to put in effort for effort's sake just to make something nice.
Well, no, or else we would have saw an FPGA Atari 2600 by now.
Yes, well,
they could have done that.
That's my point. The 2600 plus.
They could have done that. They chose to go cheaper and make more profit and screw customers out. This is the only thing that might be interesting to you, since it's emulating the whole computer range. So that includes 800, it says, plus the XL and XC, and I guess the 5200 is in that category. So this could potentially be hacked.
Okay.
To throw, I would think, 5200 ROMs on there. So that might be because 800 games look like 5200. It's like the same old thing.
Yes.
So that's the only thing I think is semi interesting.
So are they just assuming? I mean, is this, if they're saying that in the article, then they know that people are just going to rip this thing apart and load it with ROMs.
Yes. Or else why? I mean, it's probably not that far off.
But again,
that's the only. I mean,
if you're going to emulate, you've got your like.
Because I don't know if you're going to ever see a 5200 mini. Because now you're talking about like smaller segments, like 5200 and 7800 were both like lost consoles, just about in the realm of game history compared to the 2600. You know, of course. So like this might be. I'm not saying buy it. I'm not saying buy it, but because it's 120, that's way too much money. This should have been $80. $80 out the door. This should have been.
If they had made the 2600 plus FPGA, and then this came out, I would have bought one. I would have too. And if this had come out and had taken cartridges and like was able to accept other cartridges, like the other computer line stuff, I don't think I would have bought it, but I would have liked it. I would have been more behind the idea, and I actually would have been chomping at the bit at that point for a 5200 mini. But I don't want to fucking see what they would shit out as a 5200 mini.
Sure.
And they probably wouldn't because of the controllers.
The last Atari thing I probably will ever buy will be the eventual all-in-one Atari FPGA that includes somehow a 5200 expansion and or 7800. Like that'll be the last thing I ever buy, like from Atari. Like that'll be it. Give me the future solution to play whatever cartridges. Ian will buy 4 of them. If they ever do updated aftermarket 5200 controllers somehow, like that would be great. Or they'll have a new solution for that. That'll be basically it.
Shit. Who were they they started doing those replacement circuit boards though? With the gold contacts, we each got one at Portland.
That's our buddies at the Video Game History Museum.
Oh, it is them. Okay, it is the Video Game History Museum.
They are selling new boards and materials to replace the shitty paper, like you said, wafer thin.
These are still wafer thin, but I mean they have to be. But they've got gold contacts. I mean they've at least got fucking proper contacts.
Yeah,
on
so
them.
they were nice enough there at Portland. John Hardy and Sean Kelly.
People don't understand my love of the 5200. I just don't have the space or the money to start another fucking collection.
Okay, well, if I sell my stuff, I'll give you a good deal. You can see Gorf from here, Ian. You can see Gorf, unlicensed Gorf.
I have I have the first Atari 5200 I ever played a game on.
Okay, Atari Vegas Hotel is quote unquote back on track. That doesn't mean a damn thing. It's like they're in still early, sort of like fact finding and development, and we were in talks with land partners for potential Vegas sites, but I've not made a final.
I only put it down as a 2-minute thing because we laughed at it. Yeah. We laughed at it so much prior.
If this happens, it'll be.
I'll go.
It'll be a bad investment. First of all,
I will absolutely go though.
I think we all would have to see the giant Pong in the lobby.
Right.
They're not going to get. I saw some people say, "Well, they're going to means they're going to be able to get CES." No, they won't. CES is locked into where they are because CES is fucking gigantic, and they need the specifics. Have you ever been to CES? It's like 3 different sites. They're not gonna take away CES. Trust me, they're not.
No, fucking someone thinks that.
Just because it says Atari has nothing to do with CES. I saw someone mention that, and I was just like, no. Never in a million years.
Oh,
you have no idea
how any of this works.
You have no idea how big CES is if you haven't been to it. Like it is giant. It makes the biggest video game collection look like the tiniest thing you can imagine. It makes Comic-Con look tiny. That's how big CES is.
You know what makes Comic-Con look tiny? The breadth of things that you can get at ultimatenintendo.com.
Absolutely. And what can you get there?
You tell me. You can get Twitch on Wednesday night,
Don't sabotage my read. Here, you can get RBI baseball stickers, SCU podcast, enamel pins, a certain Super Nintendo guidebook because the NES one is not for sale right now. It's out of stock. You can also pre-order a certain N64 guidebook. And I'm on Twitch Wednesdays.
I'm on Twitch Thursdays.
At Country Code. So is Ian. We never go
Thursdays.
We never go to each other. I think I stopped in on yours once for 5 minutes to see you grooving.
I appreciate it.
I got out. But yeah, all that at ultimatenintendo.com. And there's 2 different covers for the N64 book, by the way, you can pre-order. There's also a new Pat the NES Punk video. Pat the NES Punk commits charity fraud on Christmas. I have no idea how I came up with the idea. Something just hit me. So go check it out on YouTube. It's fun. Lots of Frank in the episode. Frank acted his butt off for that there as well. And the Ultimate Game Guide app for NES has been updated to include Super NES, Available now for iPhone, iPad, and Mac at ios.ultimatnes.com. The app is now free to try, free, with a sampling of content and a purchase option to unlock the full library for each system. Manage both your NES and Super NES collections in a single app with reviews, tips and codes, screenshots, daily price updates, and more at ios.ultimatnes.com. Coming to Android in February. Good job to Embraceware to get the app into a nice state and to put new life into it. So go check it out. Unity did a bunch of layoffs, bad news.
Yep, jumping right into awful stuff. Unity Software announced earlier in the month that they were laying off layoffs affecting 25% of the company, resulting in the loss of 1,800 jobs. This is awful. Unfortunately, it's hard to dwell on it because Twitch laid off 30% of their workforce, which is getting harder to dwell on because last night... what happened last night? Riot Games confirmed it's laying off 530 people, or 11% of its total workforce. This little tidbit here is from Zach Zweisen at Kotaku. 22 days into 2024, and there's been 3,800 video game layoffs.
What was the website that I found? I can't find it, but the video game layoffs website, it's bad.
Yeah, so this has the stats in 2023 total. 2023 was awful, right? We talked about how bad it was. It was miserable.
Yeah.
6,000 jobs were lost in 2023. We are at half of that in January. The industry is in a bad state, and I feel bad. I feel bad for everyone losing their jobs because this is greed in action.
Well, they overinflated. They expanded too quickly during the pandemic and didn't realize that it was going to end.
Everything did. Why? Every fucking business suffered that problem. It's just idiocy. And it's not that they didn't see it coming. It was just they want the money in their pockets now and we'll fuck them over later.
Well, I think it also became an arms race. We'll buy up all these studios before our competitors do. That happened with Microsoft buying up places.
And then shuttering places before they even have a fucking chance to do anything.
Yeah, they shut down they shut down that music branch. The one that was doing the records, they shut down.
Oh, no, that wasn't Microsoft. That was
I know.
Mondo got shut down by Funko because Funko bought them and then immediately fucking emptied them. And that's what's happening with the video game companies too.
Yeah, they're doing it. So the whole point is
they got it.
They buy these. They said, oh, we had a great year. We have more money coming in. We got to buy to make more money. When they don't look at, it's amazing that the people in power. If you don't work in corporate, you don't. It's more. I think it's more depressing if you don't ever worked in corporate and saw the buffoons and assholes that were at the top.
The people in C-suites are not smarter than you by and large. They aren't. And you learn that.
Yes, the proportion of dummies to we'll just say people that can think out, they can think ahead a little bit. It's probably the same across all the levels of society. From all socioeconomic, for poor people, middle class, it's the same, by and large. Obviously, you get different access to things, and you get different opportunities. But when you work in the corporate world, and everyone in the office listening to this in their cubicle or in their office, they'll say, yes, I work with so many dumb assholes or people that are just idiots that shouldn't be here. You're not surprised that it trickles up, and there are people that fail upwards. That is a thing. There absolutely are people that fail upwards.
Yes,
that they either they don't want to get rid of because they like them, or it's nepotistic, or what I mean, or they're friends with them, so they get hired and they shouldn't get hired, and they don't want to push them to it. They don't want to either push them aside or fire them. So they've been here, Ian, for 10 years. They must know what they're doing, so we'll give them a better position. Doesn't mean they know what they're doing because they've been there forever. I've seen it happen. I've seen an employee that I didn't manage, but was on our team. In my corporate world, we had a team about 8 or 9 project managers. I did the work of like 2 people. I was an efficient worker. Other people did the work of 1, which they should, or maybe like 1 1/4. This guy did the work of like 1/3 of 1 person, and was on performance plans. And we were like, well, if we replace him, all of us can work less because we're basically making up for him.
Yeah.
And they never got rid of him. Never. Because they liked him. He was nice, but he didn't do his fucking job. So the point is this: those sort of people can get promoted, believe it or not. It's not always a meritocracy in the corporate world. A lot of times it's not. And that's what I learned working there. My boss, my direct boss, was a buffoon.
Just because they're higher up than you and have more money does not mean they are smart.
That boss that gave me 2 unwanted shoulder massages at my cubicle, they were a fucking buffoon. Chain smoking buffoon. Now I'm going off on a tangent. But the point is this. They hired these folks, and it's good that they got employment for a while, but you can't alter people's lives this quickly. Like, we'll hire them this year and fire them the next. Like, you can't turn people's lives upside down like that. You have to think about these things. But they don't.
No, they do not.
Someone sent me that video game website that showed the layoffs day by day and week by week, because I don't know what it is. I tried looking for it.
And then Kotaku has a article as well that's keeping track of all the layoffs, so you can look at that.
Kotaku has an article?
Yeah, if you go to the one Zex Wisen wrote, there's a link in there that takes you to an article where they're tracking all the layoffs as they happen.
What's amazing about Twitch is that I guess Amazon is still not turning a profit with Twitch.
Twitch has never turned a profit from what I've read.
Just a gigantic investment. And obviously Amazon could take the loss.
Yes.
But it's not like Google taking a loss on YouTube, because the amount of marketing information you get from knowing what people watch and are interesting, that knowledge is so valuable to use in other ways for marketing. Twitch, I don't see it being on the same level of usability where, well, you're watching people play specific games, but you're really watching for the personality, and the scales are so much smaller. So like, you know how many streamers are out
compared
there?
To what? Scales are smaller compared
of like the cost to run servers that Twitch runs a million servers where you're seeing stuff almost in real time and it's glitchless and there's no lag versus playing pre-recorded video.
Oh, right.
And storing that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a cost as well. But like, I'd say, I don't know the statistics in front of me. You'd probably say 90% of Twitch streamers probably don't get 5 people watching them. You know what I mean? Like, so like, it's a big loss in terms of tech costs.
I average like 12.
Well, now more, Ian. You're going to get more. What's the name of your channel?
It's just the Pixel Sickle channel.
There
I spin house music on Thursdays.
There you go. Shout out house music. So anyway, so that sucks. You know what's also really bad? People not seeing even 2 weeks before making bad decisions. GameStop with their fucking NFTs.
Yeah.
That we said was a bad idea 2.5 years ago, whatever it was, they announced it 2 years ago. And it's like, holy shit, GameStop, can you pay me $1 million and tell you not to waste hundreds of millions of dollars on something? Which is what you fucking did with this shit.
Again, more examples of just because I don't understand people's fealty to authority. Yeah, just bad ideas all around. So this is shut down. There's not a whole lot more to say about it. They say that's because of the uncertainty, the regulatory uncertainty. And I do feel like a lot of these places that jumped on it immediately, even if NFTs had somehow weirdly proven popular, I think we would be seeing people exit the NFT market as regulations start to chomp down.
Sure, but these are supposed to be intelligent business folks that would have seen a regulatory decision coming in the wings, and would realize this is risky. Even if we invest hundreds of millions, which is what they did, into this shit. They squandered all their meme stock money, a lot of it, on this shit. Even if this is successful, it might come to an end because of the government getting involved.
Yeah.
That's the best case scenario. This is bullshit. They didn't care. They want to try to make money as much as they could. Yeah.
It's not future thinking. It's all about right now, right now, right now. So get in the wood chipper.
Hell, GameStop could...
Assholes.
I'm not saying they should have done this. This would have been a better idea. What if GameStop takes these hundreds of millions of dollars? We're going to make our own game studio and make a AAA. Like, even that...
They tried to be a publisher for a minute.
The point is like, any idea would have been better than this.
Yes.
Any investment would have been better than this.
Yep, absolutely. And then real quick, I'll just mention that speaking of NFTs, like, fading off, Twitter no longer supports... I mean, Twitter's just a fucking piece of shit website anyways, but it doesn't support the NFT avatars anymore.
Oh, it's terrible.
And that's
Twitter.
I mean, that's a real sign because it was the only place that ever really did any sort of integration with your NFT on at least a mainstream website. So if it's gone off of there and they were trying to be bullish on it almost immediately, I mean, that's it.
I'm not trying to judge.
And you still got people in there, the true believers who are like, it's just a downturn, man.
I really am not trying to judge anyone listening to this that still believes in NFTs or the like.
I am. I'm judging you if you still believe in NFTs.
I'm trying not to be more judgy in my 40s. I'm trying to give people a wider berth.
I am too, but you can judge NFT believers.
That said, as I hold my Sega Master System UHS VHS, that's what happens when you live in squalor like this. You find this stuff. I think I'm holding on to this because I want to complete
Did you find that under your fucking pillow?
No, the reason I had this because remember I bought the extra Sega Master System box at Luna Video Games, 2 locations. I wanted to complete the box.
Yeah.
The point is this: if you tie, I love having this now in my hand. If you tie your identity to your NFT, I don't want to know you.
Yeah.
If you tie your personality into being a part of a club of other people that owns the same shitty, mass-produced NFTs, I don't think I want to have a sandwich with you.
So you are judging.
You can do your own thing. I don't want to be around it.
That's fair.
I don't want to be associated with it.
Oh.
You see this about the retro game store in the UK being saved by a landfill? Being saved from a landfill. A landfill didn't save them.
Tell me more.
Tell me from this comes from Ginger Hippie Gaming.
Sure does.
It's a funny name. Not familiar with the channel. So they posted a bunch of pics here. It was a 30-year-old abandoned game shop saved from a landfill. It's shocking that it got to the landfill, that the person dumping all this didn't realize that there's stuff here that's worth money still. They saved a lot of stuff that was still in good shape. A lot of games, a lot of tons of audio cassette computer games on the ZX Spectrum, and probably other things, Amstrad and whatever else, computer stuff we didn't get here. But there was good condition packs of mid 90s games. There was a Zybots there for the computer. Then I got to the point. There was record albums, Nintendo Entertainment System. There was a binder. It looks like a marketing binder. It looks like. Then there was an M82 in there. That got tossed. Yeah. Yes.
You did tell me about that.
And other earlier Nintendo Rob era marketing things. That who throws this stuff and not look at my screen. That's early M advertising with the Rob. That was in my Toys R Us with the console. That complete, I'll show the picture. That complete would be worth $5,000 probably, at least. With the glass over the top showing the console controllers, Rob, the 2 games. That was thrown in a landfill. And thankfully, most of it was saved. The plexiglass top isn't there on it. But I'm shocked. They still managed to save a bunch of it before a lot of it was damaged. And a lot of it was. But there's shit on here that I have never seen in person. Like that display I just told you about. I can't imagine either. Let's just say a company's hired to throw this shit out. They're allowed, I think, to take the shit. I would. I've seen them come to conventions of places that are hired just to clean out people who they died or they're hoarders.
Yeah.
They're selling. They know this stuff is revaluable to sell toys and games. They'll sell it there. So this is shocking to me if you went through some of this video.
No, it is kind of crazy, especially it wouldn't have been as weird if this was the late 90s.
Sure.
Even mid 2000s, but we're at the point where people know that there's worth and value in video games. So to not
DVDs were there, records. I'm looking at a box Super Nintendo games and a Tupperware they saved that are all mostly still in good shape. It looks like. I'm shocked by this. I'm not I was just okay, this is just a landfill. It's a bunch of garbage. But no, it was all tossed asunder. Then they had to pick through it. There's a picture of it tossed into this, I guess, holding area. And then someone realized we got to start picking through and collecting this shit before it gets thrown, and actually outside somewhere, and gets destroyed. But it happens, right? When I saw the M82 and the other stuff, crazy. I was
yeah,
this is stuff that's worth tens of thousands of dollars. All this stuff put together. It was nuts.
Sony has decided to kind of reverse the decision on removing Discovery content. I think we talked about this the last...
Oh, yeah, we talked about that. They made the dumb decision. Well, if you bought it, we're removing it from the servers.
Yeah.
But at least if you bought it, you can access it. So that's
well, not exactly.
What?
So
I thought it said that.
They have reversed course, revealing that the content will now remain for at least the next 30 months.
Okay. Gives you 2.5 years. Okay.
It doesn't change the problem. I mean, it's just them kicking the can down the
But it's positive.
It's something.
2.5 years if you want to watch your Animal Planet sort of show on your console. I mean, let's be honest. There's not a ton of people out here that probably fit in some of these categories, but it still sucks. It's still bad. It's still wrong. You got to keep the servers on for a while. At least they're doing that. All right, you get 2.5 years to watch it. Because their licensing agreement, and we all knew the licensing agreement, and we were just flummoxed to the fact that removing it from what you paid for, that has nothing to do with licensing, I think, at that point. That's ridiculous. All right. There's a Hyperkin Mega 95.
I don't want to spend too much time on this. It looks like shit.
It looks like it's the same exact thing as a Superboy from 10 years ago.
It's a Superboy. It's a Genesis Superboy.
They still make the Superboy?
Yeah, I'm sure they do. It was a popular seller.
It's like 2011, 12.
Yeah, they still make it. There's all sorts. There was Superboy 2s, Superboy this, that, and the next thing, there's tons of them.
Superboy?
So the big thing is that it comes with a dock. Everything's probably going to start coming with a dock now.
With a duck?
A dock.
Okay.
Huh?
A little ducky.
A little duck. Yeah. So that's it. I'm not excited about it. They just keep putting this shit out.
I had a Superboy. I think I sold it at a SoCal Gaming Expo once. To be honest,
$120. Like, why? I don't want that.
Well, the Superboy wasn't cheap when it came out.
It was 100.
10 years ago, yeah.
It was either 90 or 100. No, I mean, I'm telling you, like, there's been multiple Superboys. We sold new ones up until the day I left.
I'm not believing you.
No, when it first came out, I think it was 80, and then I think they went up to 90 or 100.
Okay. So,
120, that's not inflation. We haven't had that much inflation.
The LED screen should be a lot cheaper and better 10 years later. That's the first thing that I saw about it. This is what bothered me about this. There should be no option for widescreen. Like, it's a waste of space, but now they probably don't make LCDs, LED screens in 4.3.
Yes,
but it's such a waste of space when you don't need to play the games like that. And of course, there's an option to do it in 4.3 so that bothers me. So the form factor on this is terrible because now it's too wide. It's probably as wide as an Atari Lynx, for God's sake, and it doesn't need to be because you got to fit the 6 buttons. That's fine to put the 6 buttons, but to me, it looks like they just cut the controllers in half and put them on both sides. It looks
like shit.
If it was a 4.3 screen and smaller, I'd feel better about the form factor. The big LED screen is just ridiculous. I guess people can mod it, I guess, but like everything from retro is not widescreen until the 2000s, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm curmudgeon-y about this.
No, I mean, I think it looks like crap. I'm one of those people I'm not one of the fucking, hardcore, video guys who's going to go off on a goddamn rant because someone decides they want to use a Hyperkin and then talk about how you got to do it the real way.
No, that's a very specific complaint, but no, I would not be that person.
I would not be that person.
Play the games the way you want to play them.
I think they suck, but I'm not going to be that person. They sell like crazy, and as I've always said, not everyone needs to spend the money on a fancy setup if all they want to do is play some Mario 3 on a Nintendo.
Yes.
A Hyperkin is fine.
We're not gatekeeping. We just think it does not look like the best product.
They're not my favorite, but whatever. It's fine.
120, yeah, it might be a little too much for something like that.
For a lot of people, it's great. I don't really want to talk Switch Pro. Nothing else has come out about it. This is just still like, we know it's coming this year. I've heard rumors that it's going to be that's probably at GDC.
March GDC?
Let me see. To be shown around. I thought it was sooner.
Did they ever show the Switch at a JDC? I don't think
I'm not saying they'll show it. They'll announce it at a GDC. I'm saying they're probably showing it to developers behind closed doors. That sort of thing would not be unheard of at a game developers conference.
If this is coming out later this year, which it looks like the more reliable sources are saying.
Yeah, March 18th to 22nd.
Obviously, well, unless there's only first-party games coming out this year, you have to have dev kits in the hands of developers by now for this. So, or even like last year at some time, you had to have dev kits out. to devs. Like this has to be locked in, obviously. Like a year, at least a year in advance, a year and a half of doing your console, you have to be locked in to some frame of what your console is going to be.
So rumor is this year, and rumor is $400. We'll see.
400 is risky. The big thing is that
not if it's a brand new system, which is what it's going to be. They're not making they're not going to make an incremental step up 7 years into the system's lifespan. They're going to release a new system. Backwards compatibility, they better, but it's going to be a new system.
If this AI tech that we talked about, they got the patent for the AI or image upscaling technology, not AI, but
I don't think they have the patent. DLSS is, I use it on my laptop.
No, we talked about it. They submitted a patent for their own version, Nintendo.
Their own version of DLSS? Yes. Okay.
Their own version does the same thing.
Gotcha.
We talked about the time, like if the next console, which I think will be backwards compatible. I think it'd be dumb not to be backwards compatible. The selling point will be, hey, take Breath of the Wild, play it on our new console. It's going to look better. It's going to run better. You know,
sure.
I think that's what the selling point is going to be to get
people to you. Yeah, it'll be backwards compatibility with enhancements.
Yes. Then at 400, I mean, that's Nintendo's never put out a console that expensive. That's why it's going to be like, ooh.
Yeah, but I mean,
time marches on. No, I'm saying time marches on.
Yeah,
and maybe they realize now.
And it's been a slow. I mean, the Switch was 300, but the OLED Switch, which did well for them, was 350. And if you
did well, they did well. I understand. I mean, they sold.
My understanding is that it sold well.
Okay, for something like that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was a mid. It was. I mean,
4.69 million. Is that decent? I mean. That's what is your user base?
But then again, it's a mid life cycle upgrade that was not cheaper. So
sure, upgrades a stretch. It looks nicer, yes. But you're not getting better performance.
Well, we'll see. I don't think with Sony at 500.
Here's the deal,
and I don't think it'll be crazy.
User base between the Switch and Switch Lite is over 132 million. That was reported in November. Obviously more. So we're talking about
capture just 1% of that.
Yeah. Okay, Tommy. The point is this: you can't squander that base like they did with the Wii, with the Wii versus the Wii U. They squandered it. So if they get with even the first year, they get a quarter of 132 million to buy this new console, which I think would be gangbusters still. Like then you're starting, like you're easing into the next generation without this firm cutoff. That was again the Wii to the Wii U was terrible marketing, terrible name, terrible all around.
Well, that's my big problem here. My big concern is I think they'll do backwards compatibility. They need to fucking cut it out with the cutesy, stupid fucking names that don't make sense to anyone.
Well, yes, they can't call it Switch U. They call it Super Switch or whatever. It has to know that it's an upgraded version.
Just stop being cute. Call it a Switch 2. Or like
Switch 360, whatever.
Yeah, your advertising needs to make it known.
I think they know that by now.
Yes.
I think they know that.
Okay.
What a disaster the Wii U was. You have to make the form factor look a bit different, and the name has to be different. But for what the rumors are, this is going to be about as powerful as a PS4, which probably makes sense. That's 10 years old at this point. And with whatever upscaling tech that exists, by the way, that exists everywhere. The upscaling of older looking things to look HD, that technology is prevalent everywhere. You can buy software to do that yourself and upgrade any movie. Now we're going to get to the point where the software is going to do more of this, I think, upscaling. So now I think if you can tell people, which I thought was going to happen with the Switch, hey, the new GTA game, in theory, you can get it on our handheld. On a Nintendo console, and now with this technology, we're getting closer to that. So we'll see what happens. If you want to hear us talk about Pal World and talk about what else did we talk about? Wasn't fish we talked about in the intro? That's the exclusive podcast.
We talked about a lot. We were going to talk about Pal World, and we only really talked
Christmas
about
cookies?
that for the last chunk. Yeah, it was Christmas cookies.
Christmas cookies. Anyway, check out patreon.com/CU podcast for that.